Hey guys, how's it going? So, today I am going to do another Play or Neigh review, and today it is on a game called Prey. Now, Prey was released on the 5th of May, so it was about 10 days ago or so. I've been playing this game quite a bit during the past week since the release. I've been playing Mass Effect a little bit more just because I wanted to finish Mass Effect before I move on to my next game so that I can concentrate on one game at a time, and I did that. I did finish Mass Effect now. So, Prey is a, I would say, first-person space almost a horror game, although it's not exactly a horror game. The best game that I could compare Prey to is Deep Space. Deep Space is a pretty good comparison to this game because it also deals with essentially the same stuff that Deep Space deals with, and that is you are on a another world, you could say, like in Deep Space, and you have to deal with aliens and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to give away why those aliens are there or where they come from or anything like that, and I am also going to not show any story related elements in the review because the story is quite frankly amazing. It's really one of the first games that I've played in a long time, probably one of the first games that I played since Witcher 3 that really has my interest and has me invested in the story, since Witcher 3 really had a fucking awesome story and I really felt entwined with the characters. And even though there's not many characters in this game, you basically just have your own character and you go through your own character's trials and tribulations, I still connect very deeply with the character. So the studio behind this game, by the way, is Arkane Studios. They have done a very good job, could almost say an excellent job with the storytelling of this game, especially since you only have one character essentially, so they really had to invest quite a lot into this one character. So we are going to take a quick stroll through the options menu and then we are going to jump into the game. So to be honest, the game runs amazingly, like fucking butter. It's really an amazingly smooth game, and even though my PC isn't so awesome, I can still run the game on basically high settings. I've put basically everything on high except shadow quality, and then I've put texture quality on very high, which is the highest that it can go. So for all intents and purposes, the quality of the game, as you will see it here, is high. I can put everything on very high, but then I run at like 40 FPS and I don't want that. So my PC can run the game on high very smoothly. You almost never see any frames drop below 60. The game is really well how can I say, streamlined. So you get object detail, which is like the weapons and all of that different stuff in the game. We can actually put that to very high now that I think of it, since the weapons are really quite nice. Shadow quality, texture quality, anisotropic filtering, obviously we all know what that is. Let's just put that down to 4. And the aliasing, they have SMAA and FXAA, and that's all. So basically just FXAA and SMAA. Why do I think it was on ×2 just now? Was it on that setting? I can't even remember. We will put it on that setting. I think it's where it was, because I've run the game like this, except like that. I've run the game like that up until now, and it looks fucking beautiful. So then, other than that, there's screen space, directional occlusion, which fuck knows what that is, but basically it is like refractions and reflections and stuff like that inside your screen space. Also stuff like lens flare and stuff like that, so that's really not important at all. But those are under the advanced settings. At the basic settings, there's your normal stuff that you will find, like the resolution. You can choose borderless windowed, which I like very much. If a game doesn't have this, then it's just irritating, since I'm always find myself alt tabbing to a web page or something like that, so that's very good. And then vertical sync. Obviously you can't run vertical sync. Usually you can't run vertical sync when it is a windowed mode, but it seems here you can, even though it is grayed out. So I think even though you can select between those two, it is grayed out. So because usually you can't run vertical sync in windowed mode. But anyway, then there's the brightness settings, but I haven't changed the brightness settings at all. I just left it at 0, and my screen, with my screen's brightness, obviously if your screen's brightness is very high, then you're going to have to put the brightness in the game on lower. And honestly, I haven't changed a single thing through the options menu. The only thing that I changed is my graphics. I didn't change any of the controls. The controls were like perfect. Mouse sensitivity, I didn't change anything of that. So basically the game was perfectly set up, and it has all of the usual controls that you would expect. Like crouch is C, jump is space, sprint is shift, and all of those nice little things. And to use your special ability or to close a menu, to like cancel a menu, it's right click. So basically those are the only things that you ever use. You don't really use any of the other buttons ever. There are a few weird ones like tab to switch back to your previous weapon, but I honestly never use that. I just press 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever to select my different weapons. So you can always also set up a controller, like an Xbox controller or anything like that, but I don't choose to do that. And then the audio settings, obviously everything was on 100, but I just put it down so that the music isn't overbearing, since at 100 the music is really quite overbearing. So I just put it down to there, and the effects volume a little bit lower so that we can hear much more of the speech and the narration and all of that. So that's pretty much it. To be honest, overall there's nothing missing from the options menu except field of view slider. I would prefer to have a field of view slider, even though I really haven't seen any problems at all with the field of view in this game. So my opinion about the field of view thing being missing, the field of view slider being missing, is that honestly it's not so bad. Usually I would complain about it if I feel that you could normally see more of the game if you have a field of view slider, but honestly in this game I think they optimized the game perfectly, because there wasn't any stage during the game so far where I felt that I was lacking or I wasn't seeing something that I wanted to see. So really overall Arkane Studios have done a brilliant job at the optimization of the game and the options menu. So with that being said, let's jump into the game. So just be aware that if there are any main quest line stuff that comes up, then I will just either mute the voice or I will just cut the video and jump to a different part of the game which does not have the main quest line, because you do have quests. So basically objectives, it's basically the same thing. So we will just be concentrating on the side objectives during this video, because I do not want to spoil any of the stuff that you are going to encounter in the game, since a lot of it is heavy, very spoil heavy. So it's very easy for me to spoil the game for you, and I do not want to do that. So but I will say afterwards, after I made the cut, if there are any main questline stuff that come up, I will tell you guys about that. But otherwise, I've played up until a point in the game where there shouldn't be any main questline stuff that will interrupt our playthrough. So this is the game. This is Prey. As I said, it's basically like Dead Space. I think at the beginning I said Deep Space, but I know that I just misspoke. The game's name, which I would most probably relate this to or compare this to, is Deep Space. So, or Dead Space. Is it Deep Space or Dead Space? Fuck, I can't even remember. Anyway, that game is basically the same as this game, except Dead Space is more horror heavy. It's very much a horror game set in space, and I feel that this is more of a light horror game, even though there are quite a few times where you will probably shit your pants a little bit. So let me just determine here where I need to go, because I actually forgot what we are looking for. Okay, travel to the Arbitorium. So this is the game. As you can see, it looks very nice, even though I'm not running it on very high. I'm just running it on high, basically. The game looks very nice, to be honest, and honestly, the YouTube video, even if you watch it on 1080p, it will not do the game justice. It's really finely tuned. You can even look like very closely and you can see things are very highly detailed. The screen or the spatial reflections on my weapon is extremely good. It's like really good. The shadows are, even on medium, the shadows look really good. And the game essentially works, as I said, the same as Deep Space. You press I, which opens your inventory, and you have an inventory similar to let's say, what's that other game? Deus Ex, the newest Deus Ex. It's basically the same. It's like a Lego, people call it a Lego inventory. So you basically have to move your items around like that. So you don't have a weight restriction for your inventory, but you do have a space restriction. But to be honest, the space that they give you is really quite generous. It's not extremely generous, because your inventory is actually smaller than this that you see here, because you get skill points. I'm just going to refer to them as skill points through the video, but they are actually called Nero mods, but they work exactly the same as skill points. So you get skill points, and those skill points you can invest into different parts, and I have invested them into the part of the suit modification, which allows you to carry extra inventory space. So normally your inventory will be as big as this, and I will highlight it for you on the screen. And then after you get the following 3 skill point upgrades, then your inventory becomes as big as this. So to be honest, at the very beginning, your inventory is a little bit too small to my liking, just a little bit. The developers of the game probably did that way so that you will be forced to work very efficiently, and you must be very thrifty with your inventory space. So, but with the 3 upgrades, I'm really quite happy with the inventory space. With the 3 upgrades, the inventory space is quite sufficient. Holy shit, there was just a dude there. So, if I can quickly explain to you what the game is about. You are in space for some or another reason. I'm not going to say why. And you are surrounded by aliens. Now, if you want to know exactly why you are in space and why you are surrounded by aliens, I will upload a 1-hour video which will show the first 1 hour of the game. So if you want to know exactly what the game is about and all of that, then just go ahead and watch that video. It will be on my channel around the same time as this video. So let's bust this guy, and we should be able to kill him with one hit, unless he teleports, because the aliens can actually teleport. Okay, and we didn't kill him with one hit, but we basically shot him off the side of the building, which is something that you can do. Now this is a robot operator. They really don't do a lot of damage, but they are quite irritating. So as you can see with that alien, one really cool battle mechanic that you can use in the game is your environment. So you can either shoot a explosive canister like this in order to do extra damage to your enemies, or you can just aim a little bit higher for them and shoot them and send them flying off the side of a balcony like this. You can also, if there's electrical stuff or if there's fire or anything like that, also these O2 bottles you can shoot, then you can use the environment to your advantage. And that's something that's really quite cool in my opinion. It gives you much more room to fight your opponents with. Also, like this, a maintenance hatch. I could have used this maintenance hatch if I wanted to avoid fighting the monster altogether, because you can actually build your character to be a very sneaky and stealthy character. Now, how you would do that is basically all of the skill points that you get, all of the neuropod points that you get, neuromods points that you get, you will just be investing in scientist and in engineer, because you get, at the beginning you start with 3 skill trees: scientist, engineer and security. And I have put in quite a lot of my skill points into making my weapons more powerful. So I have put in firearms there so that my firearms are more powerful. I've put in combat focus, which is a really useful technique, like a special ability that you can use in combat, which slows down the time of combat. And then otherwise than that, I just went for basically brute force, like leverage. You can move stuff out of your way, and you can also pick up stronger or heavier objects, and you can also throw those heavier objects at your opponents if you want to. And then I also took this, which allows you to modify your weapons, and as I said, this allows you to increase your inventory space, and this also allows you to modify your weapons. So if you would have wanted to go for a more stealthy approach, then you probably would have gone for this over here, Stealth 1 and Stealth 2 and Stealth 3, which allows you to sprint without making noise and allows you to walk more stealthily, and makes it more difficult for your opponent to see you. And there's also other stuff like sneak attack, which allows you to do a stronger sneak attack on your opponent so that you can get a bigger advantage from being stealthy. So you would probably take stuff like that, and also you would probably put a lot into hacking. I haven't put a lot into hacking, to be honest, so you can use the hacking in the game to get around stuff where normally you would require brute force. So for instance, there would be a stuck door. Now you can hack the stuck door with the hacking thing, or you can just force open the stuck door with the leverage skill. So I've gone more for the brute force kind of a thing, and obviously I've upgraded my weapons also quite a bit, so I am much more of a person or a character that can take on the aliens head on, whereas if you had gone the other route with stealth and with the hacking, and you can also do stuff like increase your sonic aptitude, which is essentially your mana, how much special skills you can do, then you would be much more of a character which avoids fights or tries to avoid fights. Now, I'm not going to say too much about it, but you do unlock 3 other skill trees later on in the game, and you do that by scanning the aliens. You get something later on in the game which allows you to scan the aliens, and with skill points that you put into this tree, into this talent tree, you become more like the aliens. Now, there are certain advantages to that. Obviously, these skills are much more powerful than the normal skills. The normal skills are much more passive skills, like you get stuff that increases the benefit that you get from the med kits, and it allows you to hack, and it allows you to get more materials from the enemies that you kill. And that obviously helps you to create more stuff, because the game also has a crafting system. You pick up plans, like crafting plans, and then you can craft that thing. So you pick up a plan for bullets, then you can craft those bullets for guns, because, by the way, bullets are quite scarce in the game. So the game very much gives a bigger advantage, in my opinion at least, to the stealthy approach of stuff, because you can't go around shooting all of the enemies, because you're going to run out of ammunition quite quickly, because some of these enemies take like 10 shotgun shells before they die, which is quite a lot. You craft 12 shotgun shells at a time, and 12 shotgun shells cost quite a lot. So, in my opinion at least, you would be much better off doing the stealthy approach, but the game would take much longer then, because you have then got to do stuff like wait for your opponent to come by and then sneak attack the opponent, so that you can't just run into them and shoot them head on and stuff like that. But I also do have skill points into a health, like which gives me more health and stuff like that. So if I get hit by the enemy, it won't be such a grave thing, but if you took the more stealthy approach, then 1 or 2 hits from the enemies and you will probably be dead, since one of these enemies can really quite easily kill you. It's absolutely possible for you to get killed by a single one of these enemies. They really are that powerful. They are quite powerful. So you do get some of the weaker enemies, but the stronger enemies, like that one that I actually killed there, he's quite strong, since he has what is essentially an immolation aura. So he burns anything around him. Now I just want to see here, I'm hearing the aliens, since the aliens actually make a sound. Okay, there's one. So I'm just going to shoot him with this gun. And he's dead, because I sneak attacked him. So those robots are actually good guys, or they start out as good guys, and then later on, oh, there's one alien, and then later on they kind of get corrupted and stuff like that. So let's try to kill this guy. And he's dead. With this weapon, you basically have to keep the thing on him for long enough, and then he just explodes. So it's quite a strong weapon, but the ammunition is also quite rare. So this is the glue gun. The glue gun is really quite fucking awesome, since you use the glue gun from the very beginning up until the late game. Like the part where I am right now, I'm still using the glue gun. So the glue gun is really quite fucking awesome. And by the way, I said that the game is very well optimized, and even though you can't see my frames right now, it is still 60. I'm still running at 60 FPS, and the game is still extremely smooth, even though I am now in a place where the game should normally lag a lot, because there's a lot of flames, there's all of these particles that are floating around, and all of this stuff, like fans spinning, all of that stuff is a drain on your system normally. But honestly, this game is optimized so perfectly that no matter in what area you are, basically you never lag. Also, you can loot the aliens that you kill. So you loot stuff from them, and these grey objects you pick up and you recycle them to create stuff like I said, bullets, and you can also create weapons and stuff like that. So you are very much incentivized to pick up as much stuff throughout the game as you possibly can, because the game is very much almost like Oblivion in that sense, like Oblivion and Skyrim and those other Elder Scrolls game. You are pretty much encouraged to pick up every damn thing that you see, because you know that you will be able to sell it to a vendor eventually. Now, this game does not have a vendor. This game just basically has a recycling system, and when you go to the recycling thing, which we will get to eventually, when I get back to the main hub type of, then I will show you guys the recycling system. So let's just see here. I think I should be able to go into this door. As you can see, this glue gun, like normally I would go through here and I would get burned, but you can close off those flames with the glue gun. So you can stop flames, you can stop electrical stuff, you can really overcome. Oh, here's a guy around here somewhere, I think. Let's just go into stealth. You can really, holy shit, you can really overcome pretty much anything, any environmental stuff in the game by using the glue gun. Now, one thing that I haven't been able to explain yet is the aliens. Now, not the big aliens, but smaller aliens, which are called mimics. They can take on the physical appearance of any objects in the game. So literally any object. When we came in, if you actually rewind the video a little bit, when we came in, there was a box right there, and it was a mimic. So the mimics take on the appearance of any objects in the game. So you pretty much from the beginning of the game, and that's partly what makes the game a horror game. As I said, it's not massively horror, like it doesn't massively depend on the horror, but it is certainly a little bit of horror game. From the very beginning of the game, anything that you see, like you will walk into a room and you won't know if that box is an alien or not, since at the beginning of the game you have no way of determining if it's an alien or not. Only later in the game you get this thing, which you basically press Z or Z on your computer, and then it scans the area for aliens. So if that was an alien, then it would indicate it, but I didn't have it on when I came into the room. Normally I have this thing on 24/7, but I actually want to show you guys the environment and all of that, since the environment really doesn't look very nice with this thing on, and it also muffles the sound, like the game sound and all of that. So for the most part of the game, I'm going to play it like this, just so that you guys can appreciate the environment and all of that. But let me get back to what I was saying. From the very beginning of the game, you have no way of determining what thing is an alien or not. And if you watch that 1 hour video that I'm going to upload, which is basically just the first 1 hour of the game, you will very quickly see that it's a quite terrifying thing to walk into a room and not know what is going to attack you, because like you basically have to fucking end up shooting everything, and that's what I did at the beginning of the game. You have to end up shooting everything because you don't know if you're just going to walk in and then it's gonna be an alien. And the aliens deal quite a lot of damage when they attack you from the morphed state, you could say, because they basically get a sneak attack on you, so they deal quite a bit of damage. Just 3 or 4 times that they sneak attack you like that, like you walk into a room and they sneak attack you, then you're dead. So, and medical medkits at the beginning is really not, there's really not a lot, it's quite rare, so there's really a big aspect of you being scared shitless of anything in the game at the beginning. Now, as I said, later on in the game you get this thing which helps you quite a lot, but still, if you enter a room without this thing on, then anything can be an alien. The speaker can be an alien, 2 chairs, like it could look very strange that there's 2 chairs, like you could think there should only be 1 chair, so then the chance that the additional chair is an alien is very good, since they always mimic stuff that are around them, and you guys will see more of that as we go through the game. So that is the part of the game that is really quite fucking scary. You never know what is lurking behind, or what is lurking inside a room, since even the cup, even a little fucking cup, could be an alien. These mimics can really take on the appearance of any fucking thing in the game. So we're going to listen to this transcribe thing quickly, and then we're going to move on to this thing over here.
Jean, it's Mariana. I can't get in. I tried the airlock at power plant, but it's got some kind of a lockdown on it. And there's something else. I saw something when I was checking the last O2 station. An ovoid mass. Roughly the size of a truck, maybe? Hard to tell because it was silhouetted. I mean, it could have just been debris, loose tubing, I don't know, but it scared the shit out of me. God, I sound crazy. Just gotta breathe. I'm gonna try another airlock, then I'll call back.
Okay, so you throughout the game get voice logs like that are for the most part stories from the crew members that was on the space station that are starting to realize that there has been an alien outbreak. Now, as I said at the beginning, I'm not going to tell you why there was an alien outbreak, because that is quite integral to the story, but basically it's just stories of people that realize that something is screwy, something screwy is going on, and in a lot of them they die, like in a lot of the transcribe things, the voice transcribations or what the fuck ever, they die. So some of them are quite brutal and gruesome, so but some of them contain very good information, since, as I said, there are multiple ways to move through an area, and some of the voice notes give you notes and clues and key codes and stuff like that, where if you don't pay attention or if you didn't listen to the thing, then you wouldn't be able to open a specific door. Like for instance, now this door you need a key card, but a lot of the doors you need a code, and the codes are sometimes like scrolled on a wall, or they are in stuff like that, voice note and stuff like that. So you really need to depend on your own wits, and you need to look around basically everywhere in order to get the key codes for stuff like that. It's never 100% necessary. Like for instance, behind this door, which is the key card that's lying somewhere, there's probably just a few extra skill points, like a few more of those Nero mods and maybe a new gun or something like that. So it's basically, you just get rewarded for your extra work, but you don't need to open this door. In most of the cases, you just need to go to a panel like this and then activate the thing, and fan 3 malfunction, clear all fans before running decontamination. So there we see we need to find out what the fuck is blocking up the third fan, which is, I think this is part of the main thing that we are doing, the main quest that we are doing, I guess I could say. But there's really no way of knowing exactly what you are doing in the environment, since you can very easily move away from one quest to another quest. The quests are really quite intertwined. So the third fan is that one there. So let's check out if I can remove that obstruction quickly. Is it something broken? Oh, it's this thing. Okay. So you just take that out. Come on. And throw that over there. There we go. Now all of them should be fine. Now I just need to get out of here. Ouch! Without getting cut. I just wanted to say I want to get out of there without getting chopped to pieces, but I thought that I jumped over the fan, but apparently I did not jump high enough, or the fan sucked me in or something like that. I did use my jetpack, since you do have a jetpack, so I thought that I could just float over the thing, but it is quite evident that that was not the case. So unfortunately, environmental things like that, including electricity also, gives you a one hit. It's like one hit and then you're dead. So unfortunately, we do not, or fortunately, we do not lose a lot of stuff. The another thing that is good about the game is that the autosave mechanic in the game is very good. Like, you basically are constantly autosaved, so you basically never need to worry about losing too much progress, to be honest. So since this thing is on a timer, we will just remove that thing and the fans should start up very quickly, and then we can go back up here and then we can start the decontamination, and then next area should be opened up. So there we see the fans are starting up again, and let's start the decontamination.
Atmospheric decontamination procedure initiated. Oxygen flush commencing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hazardous atmosphere emissions.
And fortunately my suit activated, so I don't really need to worry about an environment which does not have oxygen in it. Unfortunately, the aliens will also not be affected by the lack of oxygen, so I'm not certain what this decontamination is for exactly. I think it will just open another area probably once the decontamination is complete, since a lot of the time a door or something like that will be reliant on you clearing certain obstructions, like for instance this decontamination thing. Okay, so with the decontamination complete, hopefully we should now be able to access a new area, or an area that was previously not accessible to us. So, so far obviously the game has been a little bit boring. I didn't realize that this area of the game that I chose would be so boring and so devoid of aliens. Usually the aliens are the whole place, but throughout this past 20 minutes or so that I've been playing, we've only encountered one alien, which honestly, trust me, it is quite rare. Normally you encounter quite a bit of aliens. There should be at least like maybe 4 or 5 aliens in an area as big as this, not just one. But I guess it's just bad luck that I chose an area like this. But we will hopefully quickly find the area that we need to move to next, and then we will encounter a couple of aliens. So, to be honest, while there's not a lot of action going on, I should probably try to explain a little bit more about what I think about the game. To be honest, after the amount of time that I've played the game for, I would say 20 hours, probably close to 20 hours, maybe as little as 15 hours of the game. The game is really quite awesome, to be honest. As I said, with my sore throat that I had over the past week, I haven't really played a lot of the game. I've played like 2 hours every day for the past week, basically, because things have been hectic, and when you're sick you don't always want to play a horror game like this, even though it's not extremely horror, as I said. But at the beginning there certainly are a few times where I was pretty scared. At least it's not like pure, how can I say, pure horror. It's for the most part jump scares, like just stuff jumping out at you, like the mimics that jump out at you and stuff like that. Speaking of mimics, we should just probably put on our visor in order to tell us if there are any mimics in the area. But that thing that I've shot just there is just one of the corrupted engineering bots. So basically the entire area, the entire moon base or space station or whatever you want to call it, is devoid of life except for the aliens, because the aliens pretty much killed everyone. And yeah, at the beginning of the game you learn or you see exactly why that is. Now I've pretty much checked this entire area. I don't really know what this area is for, but perhaps this was just like a requirement for me to move on to the next area. So I think we can probably move back to the first area where I was, since I haven't really explored a whole lot in this area. So yeah, the game is really a little bit horror-ish at the beginning, but later on, when you get stuff like the shotgun and some of the more powerful weapons, the aliens pose a much lighter threat to you than they do at the beginning. So the game loses quite a bit of its scariness, since you are basically just scared at the beginning of dying. You're scared of dying, and you're scared of what might jump out at the next corner. But oh, radiation. But once you get good weapons like a shotgun and stuff like that, then you're not scared of what jumps out at the next oh shit. Then you're not scared of what jumps out at the next corner, because you can very easily kill whatever jumps out at the next corner. So unfortunately I cannot enter this room since I need leverage 3. So you see there, need leverage 3. I can pick up these smaller containers, but that won't help, since I need to be able to move the big one. Oh, there we go. So just as luck would have it, the smaller container managed to push the big container out of the way, which I'm pretty sure should not happen. I'm pretty sure that's a bug. And here we see some scissors that are hanging in the air, which is also probably a bug. But to be honest, what game isn't without bugs? I mean, pretty much all games these days unfortunately have bugs. And there I found a skill point. That Neigh mod is a skill point. So the game is special in that you don't gain XP from aliens. You just basically need to find those Neigh mods, and then you gain an extra skill point. And surprisingly, you can also craft those skill points, those Neigh mods. So it's quite surprising. When I first saw that I can craft those things, I was like, fucking hell, well then I can just craft a shitload of them, can't I? But the crafting materials for the Neigh mods aren't very they aren't everywhere, like they're not very plentiful. So even though you can technically craft infinite materials and or infinite skill points, the stuff that you get in the game, like the materials, aren't infinite. You need to collect stuff like from corpses, like this frayed wire. You need to collect that, and then when you get to a recycling post later on, then you can use that to deconstruct those materials that you've collected, and then you can craft stuff like ammo and those Neigh mods and stuff like that. So you really can't craft infinite Neigh mods, even though you can craft the Neigh mods. So hopefully we will be able to find the next place that I am supposed to go to. Let's just see if there aren't any mimics in here. No, no mimics in sight. And I don't really know what I'm supposed to do around here. Doesn't really seem that this area is very eventful. I swear I chose the most fucking boring area that I've encountered in the entire game so far, and I didn't really plan on this being so fucking boring. But just stay with me, I'm certain I will find a few aliens as we move on to the next area here, since we should hopefully be done with the shittiest area now. There's one area over here that I didn't go to yet. By the way, these turrets are really quite nice. I quite like the turrets because you can pick up the turret and it goes into a box form, and then you can just move to another area, and then you can set up the turret over there to do your dirty work. And the turret is especially useful because, as I said at the beginning, you don't have infinite ammo. But the turrets do have infinite ammo, so if you keep a turret with you constantly, then the turret is really going to save you a lot of ammo. So you just put it in a place like this, where it can have a nice view of the area, and it should very easily be able to find enemies and stuff like that. So let's kill this thing, since my thing is telling me that it is corrupted, because otherwise normally you would just walk up to it and it would attack you, since you would normally not know that that thing is corrupted. So actually here we came to a crafting station. Let me just repair this bot over here, this turret. Oh, there's a enemy over there. So we finally found some more aliens. And that is one of the fire, as I like to call them, the fire aliens. They have an immolation aura, which is quite damaging, to be honest. So we are going to repair this thing, and we are going to place it down here, and we are going to deploy it.
Eradicator Autotrope version 0.7.
And it's dead. So the turret did quite nice work. Where's the turret now? Was the turret destroyed already? Where the fuck is the turret?
Diagnostic check.
Oh, there it is. For fuck's sake. It was hit all the way up there because those aliens, these aliens, oh shit. Fucking hell. These aliens actually have ranged attacks. So let's kill this guy with our little laser weapon. Okay, that's a mini boss. You see it has a name, Kirk Remmer. The guys that were humans, that were originally humans, are a little bit more powerful than the normal aliens. So we should be able to kill this guy. And he's dead. You just basically need to get a very good hit off on them, and then the aliens, to be honest, aren't that difficult to deal with. They're they're pretty difficult because, as I said, the aliens can relatively easily, one of them can relatively easily kill you if you aren't prepared well enough for them. But to be honest, that doesn't happen a whole lot. You just need to keep your wits about them, about you, and equip your scanner thing constantly so that you can determine where they are. So I'm not sure what will happen if I press this button, but let's do that. Hopefully there's an alien in there that I can just kill with one shot. Okay, it's an escape pod. Ensure pod doors, blah blah blah. No, I probably don't want to use the escape pod right now. It's probably not going to be a good idea. This guy, you can see, clearly wanted to make his way to the escape pod, but unfortunately he was a little bit slow. So yeah, it just seems that all of these are escape pods, but I don't really have an objective to use the escape pods. As you can see, we are in space, so I don't really think that I need to use it at the moment. For some reason this one requires a level 3. Oh, okay, that's because there's actually a dead body and a medikit in there. So if I had the level 3 repairing, then I would be able to you see there's a mimic there. So actually that mimic was disguised as a medikit. That medikit that we saw there on the ground, it actually was oh, that's a greater mimic. It actually was disguised as the medikit. So that's the thing that I was saying about the turret, or the mimics. You don't know when you are about to get attacked or anything like that, because in that case I probably just would have walked in there and was like, oh, this is fucking cool, a medikit, since medikits are pretty rare. But I would have then gotten my ass handed to me by that greater mimic. Now unfortunately he's triggered to me through the pod thing, which fortunately there the music went away, because that fucking music will play constantly if you don't disengage from an enemy or anything like that. We got a new thing to listen to, so let's listen to that.
It's Mariana. I can't get in. I tried the airlock at power plant, but it's got some kind of a lockdown on it. And there's something else. I saw something when I was checking the last O2 station. An ovoid mass. Roughly the size of a truck, maybe? Hard to tell because it was silhouetted. I mean, it could have just been debris, loose tubing, I don't know, but it scared the shit out of me. God, I sound crazy. Just gotta breathe. I'm gonna try another airlock.
This is Kirk Rimmer. We're in escape pod 8-9. Everyone is secured, but the launch controls aren't responding.
Did you follow all the steps on the launch card exactly?
Yeah, the klaxon even sounded, but the hatch won't close. We can't separate.
Hang on. I'm looking at the schematics. There should be a remote sensor on the explosive bolts.
Alika, please, hurry!
I see all the leads, but... Wait! This can't be right.
Can you launch us from there? Can you at least close the goddamn hatch?
No, I don't think so. Is there a manual crank of some sort? Remmer, do you copy?
Okay, so those voice things, as I said, most of them don't really give you much information. They just are the trials and tribulations of the previous crew that were here. But some other of those voice lines, voice recording things give you codes and stuff like that, which are actually quite useful. So this is the fabrication unit, I could say. You basically craft stuff with it. So you pick up a plan throughout the game. You pick up a plan for a range and a medikit and shotgun shells, 9mm shells, different plans like that. And once you have the plan, you then just basically select the thing. You select the thing that you want to craft. In this case, we can craft a neuromod, so we just craft a neuromod, and then we get a neuromod out of it. Now, the neuromods are quite expensive. As you can see there, they use 3 exotic material, 2 mineral, 2 of the other ones, and 1 of those grass things. So they are really quite expensive, to be honest. But for the most part, you basically have to weigh the options of do you want to craft the neuromods and spend a lot of your stuff on the neuromod, or do you want to craft like shotgun shells, for instance? Because like the shotgun shells cost basically half as much as the neuromods. So you can craft 2 shotgun shell cases for 1 neuromod, but it doesn't help that you even have, like, you can have a million neuromods, but if you run out of ammo, like if you run out of shotgun shells, then you're not going to be able to progress through much of the game. You know, the first alien enemy that you encounter is going to kick your ass. So you really have to weigh up the pros and cons of crafting either the neuromods, which make your character better, or the ammo to kill the enemies with. So we are just going to move forward a little bit with the turrets. I just want to see, okay, there's no cross corridor there. So one thing that I like to do is I like to take at least 1 turret with me constantly to have them as backup, since the turrets actually can see through the mimics. So the turrets often can spot a mimic before I can actually spot a mimic, which is really quite cool. One thing that is really interesting mechanic in the game is that for every one of these skill points that you put in, like every one of these purple ones, this one, and this one, for every 1 skill point that you put into these skill points, you become more corrupted. So if you become too corrupted, then the turrets, these turrets, and any other security systems in the moon base will consider you an alien, since what you are doing through putting more skill points in those things are you are becoming more alien. You're basically succumbing to the aliens' biology, I could say, since this scanning thing that I do when I go like this and I hover over the aliens, the more you do that, the more skill points you unlock, or the more skill abilities you unlock. And if you actually invest points into those skill abilities, then your brain and your biology gets changed, and you become more like the aliens. By the way, another thing, or at least one thing that I really hate about the game is that the game actually has a lot of respawning. The enemies, the aliens, respawn like a motherfucker. Like really, they respawn at a rate which is really bullshit. Like you will often go out of an area and then come back into the area, and then that area will be fully re-inhabited by aliens. Like there will be a shitload of aliens in that area again, and that's really something which I find to not only break the lore and the story behind the game, but I also find it to be infuriating, because you can destroy like all of the aliens in an area, and then if you move from the one area to the other area, and the areas are sealed off, they're like isolated areas with massive fucking doors behind between them, like the door that I just went through. So there's no way for one alien to move from the one area to the other area, because how are they going to open the doors? You know, they can't open the doors unless they are like special fucking aliens. So it's in my opinion impossible, or it should be impossible, for the aliens to move from one area to another. But even though that is the case, they still, or that should be the case, they still move from one area to another area like fucking constantly. It happens the whole time, where you will move from one area to another area, and then that area will be inhabited with fucking aliens again. I think that alien is outside, luckily. Yes, it's outside. So you can see there's, and that alien is fucking powerful. It's really powerful. You can see that alien is outside. When I take off my helmet, you can see it's drifting outside in space. Now, there is a part where you can go outside into the space, and you can essentially think of this entire base as a thing like where you are on a moon base. It's like essentially a moon base or a space station, and you can do a spacewalk and go outside and then go up and then inside again, and then you're in another area. So you can move from the robotics bay down here, then you go out the airlock, then you go up and in, and you can go to like the infirmary or whatever. So the map and the entire space station is designed in a really cool way that you can actually move from the one area to the other area whenever you want. Some of the doors are locked, like you often encounter locked doors and stuff like that, so you basically then just have to find a door that isn't locked and then go through the back way in order to open that door. So if you go up like this and out, and this door is locked, then you just go up and out and to the next one. You will eventually find a door which is not locked, and that will then obviously allow you to explore a new area. And I did that several times, and you can go out there forever. You never run out of oxygen. The only thing that is difficult about it is you run into big motherfuckers like that, like those telepaths, which are like really fucking powerful aliens, and they have very long-ranged attacks, so your shotgun doesn't help anything against them unless you come close to them. But to be honest, as soon as you come close to them, they fucking destroy you. So it's really quite an inhospitable environment out there, because they really have a big advantage over you, since only basically long-ranged weapons work well against them. So this thing will make my suit 100% again. And in order to get up there, like normally you wouldn't know what to do here, since that's a dead end and all of that is dead ends. So normally you wouldn't know what to do here, but you just need to remind yourself constantly that you have this glue gun, and you can use the glue gun to access different areas, which is really quite cool. The glue gun is really quite fucking useful. Come on, jump up there. It's a little bit tricky, since the game's mechanics sometimes doesn't want to work with you. For fuck's sake. Come on. I'm gonna get it just now. There we go. And then you just jump up there. So that's how you will then access a new area. So sometimes it might seem like an area might seem as if there's no way to go to the next area, but you just need to keep your wits about you and remember all of the different skills that you have. There will either be a place where you can hack, where you can use your hacking, or there will be a place that you can use your leverage, as I have. You just basically lift something out of the way, or there's also another thing, repair. You can also use repair in order to repair certain things. So what do I need to repair here? A grounding resistor. Okay, so I need level 3 repair in order to actually repair that. Let's listen to this voice thing.
You were looking for me?
Yeah, what's the story on Michaela's office?
I filed an incident report.
Well, I'm sure it's a page turner, but I don't have time. I need to get a crew on the other side of that breach.
So what's the problem?
Problem is, it's blacker than my butthole at the bottom of a well in there.
The grounding resistor malfunctioned. Swap a new one and you should have your lights. Is that all?
Hey, you sound rattled. What's up?
I tried replacing the resistor yesterday.
And?
And it just melted into some kind of goo. Smelled like fried ass.
Shit, man. That's not in the report, is it?
I need to get some sleep. My shift's over anyway. Maybe you'll have better luck.
What the fuck? What the fuck is actually attacking me? Something fucking attacked me there. But I don't know what. There was some of that mimics, the 2 mimics popped down there while they were talking, but holy shit, I didn't see what the fuck attacked me. Maybe it's just electrical stuff on the ground, maybe? Let's see here. Oh yes, okay, so it's electrical stuff on the ground. So, ouch. In order to get past that, we need to find the origin of the shocking. And we should be able to just do this. Fuck's sake, that thing hurts. Come on, repair, repair. Okay, good. So that's a little bit of a precarious, or this area is a little bit of a precarious area. There's fucking water all over the ground there and electrical stuff all over the place. So it's a little bit fucking... Oh shit, there's a telepath. Where the fuck is it? Telepaths are fucking powerful. They pick you up, throw you into the air, and usually you fall to your death, but luckily I used my space jump there, like my jetpack, in order to slow my fall. So I don't really want to go into that area, since I don't want to face a fucking telepath right now. And I don't even know where the telepath is. It must be high. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So, fucking hell, come on. You see, that thing has a massive range. It can attack you from extremely far. So let's try to kill it with the laser beam, since the laser beam I think has unlimited range. So let's just find it. Fuck off, come on. My targeting thing should target it. Come on, for fuck's sake. Just heal again. The fucking thing is invisible or some shit. Okay, let me just fucking throw a grenade over there. That should deal with a motherfucker. EMP, no, recycler, there we go. G. Come on, it's not making it over there. Oh, I don't want to get shocked to death. No, it's still not fucking dead. For fuck's sake. That thing is a fucking nightmare. Okay, so we're just going to avoid that motherfucker because I don't think you're even meant to kill it from this side. I think you're meant to just go another way and then eventually you will find yourself on that side. Okay, so now we're in the coolant chamber. There should probably be some aliens around here. Just clear this environmental hazard with a glue gun and then we can move on. So, yeah, I've pretty much said most of the stuff that I wanted to say about the game. I'm going to stay quiet for just a few minutes because I at least want you guys to hear and see a little bit of gameplay without me talking over it.
Disintegrated circuit. Found new. Disintegrated circuit. Found new. Instructions. Disintegrated circuit. Disintegrated circuit. Found new. Instruction.
Okay, so you can see there, my helmet picked up a mimic over there. Normally you would not know that there is a mimic, so without this thing on my head, you wouldn't know that there's a mimic. Oh, there's two mimics actually. So we can see that they actually look like just boxes on the floor and a thing on the shelf there. So if we can go in here, which we can't, then we would just basically be attacked by them as soon as we go close to them. I'm not sure where the code is for this thing, but there should be a code somewhere, even though I'm not certain where it is, and I probably need to look around a little bit more. But you can see there, it looks like nothing. Like if those indications weren't there because they were placed there by my head thing, by my headgear. And there's another mimic, so this fucking place is filled with mimics. If you went in here and you didn't have this head thing, then you would just absolutely be destroyed. And that's essentially what happened at the beginning. Like from the beginning, it basically was like that. Look at all of those fucking mimics. There's a shitload of mimics. Luckily I can kill them through here without going in there. And I can actually also equip one of those things. And then... come on. And then throw one of them through there. One of the grenades. Okay, that should be all of them. even though that still doesn't fix the problem of me not being able to get in there. I basically need to look around here a little bit in order to find that fucking code, this code for this room. The parts storage room. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that's just one of the things of the game. If you want into a place like that, which obviously has a lot of rewards. I mean, if you look at all of the glowing stuff, like that glowing stuff there, that glowing stuff there, all of those glowing things, then there's obviously a lot of stuff in that room, but finding the code for the room is probably going to be a pain in the fucking ass, because usually the more rewarding a room is, the more difficult the code is to find of that room. The codes can sometimes be extremely difficult. There was the one code which was horribly difficult, which it was against a wall, and there was a thing. Oops, I just pressed right click. That's actually my slow time ability, which I even haven't showed you guys yet. There was a code against the wall, and I will actually show you an image of that on the screen. And in order to get the code, I had to deduct and subtract and all of that stuff. The atomic numbers of equation, like there was like iron, silver, gold, borium, and whatever, tin or whatever, you know, like, and just the symbols there. Then I had to know what those symbols was. I had to Google what the atomic numbers for those symbols was, or the periodic table numbers for those symbols. Then you had to work out the equation, and only then you got the code for the fucking door. So some of the door codes are incredibly difficult, and you really have to firstly search your ass off, and then when you actually find out what the code is or where the code is, sometimes it's a fucking crazy equation which you first have to work out. So it's really quite crazy sometimes. So I just picked up a coolant chamber access card for this one, which is this is the coolant chamber. So I'm going to go in there in just a minute, but first we're going to pick up this voice recording quickly.
Hey, a little bird told me you plugged a leak in an unconventional manner a few weeks ago.
Yeah? Was it an ass-kissing bird named Krasikov?
Maybe. Care to elaborate?
Not if I'm going to get my pee-pee slapped.
Worse, I'll dunk you in the eel tank.
Ouch. Nah, supply was out of parts, so I borrowed a glue gun from the guys in hardware. Worked out okay.
Ingenious. Next time, let's make sure we have enough spare parts to do the job right.
Roger that, boss.
Okay, so I might be able to get into this room through the underground. Let's see here. Okay, here's some neuromods. And there's an alien somewhere. As soon as that music starts playing, you can already know there's an alien somewhere, since that music only plays when you have been encountered by alien. So in order to get into this room, the storage room which we spoke about, I need to have leverage 3. So let's see, I should have enough for leverage 3, and I do indeed. So all of these neuromods which I picked up during this video so far, I'm going to use them. You use them by... Oh, and by the way, this is going to take 6 neuromods. The neuromods requirement is displayed there. So this one takes 8 neuromods, this one takes 3 neuromods, this one takes 6 neuromods. So it's not necessarily that one skill takes 1 neuromod. Like this one takes 1, but then this one takes like 3, and this one then takes 8. So eventually the skills are quite expensive. This one I believe was something like 12 neuromods, which is fucking crazy. Since considering I've played now about an hour or so, and I've only collected about like 6 neuromods, since I think I started out with 3 of them. So you can already see collecting 12 neuromods is going to take you like statistically according to this, like 4 hours before you can get that one skill. But it is like the highest level skill that you can possibly get, so I guess it all balances out in the long run. So I'm going to take this leverage 3 so that I can move this heavy box out of the way, and there's an alien above me right there. So we are gonna move this box. Okay, can I get through? No. Just need to move it a little bit more. Okay. Let me just take this fucking thing off. Ah, there we go. The alien is here somewhere. There, that's a mimic. So you see exactly there, that thing that looks like a fucking box, that looks like that box there because it mimicked that box, that's a mimic. So if I didn't have this thing on, which marks it for me, then it would just look like any fucking normal object. So if I walk closer, you will see it immediately attacks me and deals quite a bit of damage. Come on. Why the fuck doesn't it want to attack me? This is fucking bullshit. It's like a bug or something. Because always, as soon as you come close, like if you come this close, the mimic immediately attacks you. For some reason, this fucking one doesn't want to do that. So I'm just gonna kill it. So for some reason, the fucker just didn't want me to explain my fucking point, but you get the idea. As soon as you get close to those fuckers, they attack the shit out of you. So fortunately I was able to show you guys nice and close and personal exactly what those mimics look like, and they can really take the shape of any damn thing in the game. Like they can take the shape of medikits as we saw earlier, and they can really take the shape of any fucking thing. So, oh, this isn't the other room, this is the maintenance room. But there might be a way. Ah, you see there. I can just go up and then I can get into that room that I wanted to get in, where the code is. So the only way to get into this room is either moving this fucking massive box out of the way with leverage 3, or getting into the room at the top with the code, which I have no fucking idea where you get that code, and then falling through this hole into this room with that code. So you guys see, basically there's a bunch of ways for you to play the game. As I said at the beginning, you can like use the strength aspect, like the leverage, or you can use repairing. Often there's a broken door, then you have to repair it. Or if it's a broken door, you can just force it open with leverage, although not all broken doors can be forced open with leverage. And then you can also use hacking. Hacking is also something that you can often use in order to hack into computers, in order to turn off security systems and stuff like that. So there's really 3 different ways which you can play the game. And all of these methods are just basically there to get into additional areas. You will never need to hack something or anything like that for a main quest in order to get into a main area or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to show you guys of the game. I so far was able to show you pretty much everything that I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you all of the different ways to play the game, different areas to get into rooms. I wanted to show you the big aliens and the little aliens that mimic fucking boxes. I wanted to show you the combat, and even though I wasn't able to show you as much of the combat as what I hoped for, to be honest, this 1 hour or so that I played the game honestly was a pretty good indication of how the game actually is, because the game isn't just constantly fighting and stuff like that, and you shouldn't go into the game expecting to be like this, because this game is not fucking Bulletstorm or Borderlands or anything like that. It's not a fast-paced, crazy, hectic first-person shooter. It's absolutely not that. A lot of the time, like at least 50% of the time, you have to figure out stuff like, in order to start up a generator, you have to fucking find a code for the door, and then once you're in the room to the generator, you then have to take out shit out of fans, as I did at the beginning, in order to start up the generator. And then once the generator is on, that allows you to power a door, and then you go through that door, and it just goes fucking on and on and on and on. Like, I probably have to open that door. That's probably the thing that I have to do in this room, and I'm really not even fucking sure yet where I have to do that, since I haven't explored the entire room yet. Like, that's essentially what the entire game is about. You just need to find your way off of this fucking station, off of this space station or moon base, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's actually a space station. And then once you find your way off of it, then you can blow the space station up in order to kill all of the aliens. I'm only assuming that's what the story is all about, but so far I haven't been told the entire story. Like the story hasn't been fully revealed to me yet, since I haven't completed the entire game yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what most of the game entails. You just basically have to find a way to escape the space station and then blow up the space station so that the aliens don't make it back to Earth. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. So yeah guys, if I can quickly give you my complete opinion of the game, I really think that comparing this game to Deep Space or Dead Space or what the fuck ever is a good comparison. It's basically the same paced. It's paced basically the same as Dead Space or whatever. You don't fight constantly. It's not a constant fight against aliens. You do fight them here and there, but it's honestly not constant. Sometimes you will walk into a room as big as this, and I mean this room is massive, and you won't encounter a single alien, which actually in this case was the case. I mean, I didn't encounter a single alien there. It's only in this room where the aliens were. So honestly, that is very often the case, where you will walk through an entire fucking room as big as this, and there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do, like you have to fucking change generators, open doors, hack stuff here, fucking repair bots and all of that crazy shit, and you will often spend hours in a room like this without fighting a single alien. So the game is very slow paced, to be honest, but I don't think it's too slow paced. It's certainly too slow paced for a first person shooter, like first person shoot 'em up, but this game isn't meant to be a first person shoot 'em up. It's more meant to be a first person shooter with a little bit of horror and a lot of questing and almost platforming, although it's not really a platformer per se. It is quite vertical. You can very easily go from like the bottom floor where I was all the way up there, up the elevators, and then up another level, and then you can go out into outer space, and like I said, you can do a spacewalk out and go to another bay. Like the areas are really fucking massive. It's like incredibly big. The game is honestly almost disorientatingly big. Like there's one level, there's another level which I haven't been to. I haven't been to that level yet either, and I haven't been to that level yet either. So there's 6 levels only in the power plant where I am now. And if you go to the entire station map, then you can see there's a shuttle bay, psychotronics, life support, near remote division, Talos lobby, hardware labs, deep space storage, crew quarters, Talos bridge, arbitorium, guts, which is a massive fucking place. I already was there, the cargo bay, and then the power plant. So there's a shitload of places, and this entire hour that I've played now, I've only been in the power plant, and I've only been on level 1, 2, and 3. I haven't been to level 3, I haven't been to level 4, 5, or 6 yet. So I spent an hour on only 3 levels of one place, only this place. I haven't been to that place, any of the other fucking places yet. So you can clearly see that in the end you're going to spend a large time on this game, and I've honestly so far spent easily 20 hours, I would say about 20 hours so far, and I've read and heard people finishing the game after 30 to 40 hours. So the game will probably take you 30 to 40 hours depending on what difficulty you play, since there's easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. So I have a sneaking suspicion that those people that completed the game after 30 hours or so play the game on easy, on the most easiest difficulty, since I'm playing the game on hard and it's really fucking difficult to progress. I mean, often a single alien, like you saw with that alien that picks you up and throws you down to the ground, that one fucker can kill you. So it's really quite difficult to kill some of these aliens on hard, at least. Obviously, if you play the game on easy, then the game will be easy. It's called easy for a reason, but I found the game to be quite challenging on hard, since you really have to use your bullets efficiently. Like, I fucking ran out of pistol bullets, and of the shotgun bullets I only have 45 left. So, and I really have almost nothing left. I mean, only a few more shots with this and then I'm done. Like, look at that. Like that, and I'm out of fucking ammo. So I basically had no ammo left on this gun. I have a lot of the glue gun bullets left, but the glue gun doesn't deal any damage. The glue gun essentially just is used to build a wall. Like, you can do like this and then jump up to another platform. That's why I say that the game is also pretty much a platformer, since you are forced to use the glue gun in a lot of places to reach higher places or to traverse a wall or whatever. So it's very much a platformer also, but the gun can also be used to slow down certain enemies. It doesn't freeze them completely, you can just slow them down a little bit, and then if you want to, and if you're a crazy motherfucker, you can go hit them with the wrench, because there's also a wrench in the game. So it's really quite fucking cool. And another thing that I really am impressed with the game is that there's often places like this which is seemingly inaccessible. Like, you would say that there's no fucking way to get into this room, but then there will be a screen. Like, there will be a screen right there. Then you have to position yourself like this, and then you have to shoot through this opening, and this thing shoots like little nerf things, like little nerf bolts, flexifoam bolt things, and then you have to hit the unlock door thing on that screen through this fucking thing. And sometimes it involves like jumping and shooting. It's really quite fucking awesome when you are able to open a room like that. But as we saw here, I went through the bottom, through there, and then I moved a crate down there with leverage 3, which is the highest leverage that you can get. Then I got into that bottom room, and now I can just go through the hole there in the ground, and then I can get into this room, and then probably from this room I can go up another level, since there's 6 levels in this power station. So really, I'm really impressed by the level design, and also the game mechanics, and the fact that stuff like this is optional. You don't need to get into this room. I'm actually quite far away from the main quest objective right now, but as I said in this video, I don't want to do the main quest objective, since that's going to give you guys spoilers of the main storyline. And the main storyline is quite enthralling and quite intriguing. So I would certainly suggest that if you are going to play the game, play it. If you're not going to play the game, then watch that 1 hour video that I'm going to upload after this video probably. It's basically the first 1 hour of the game, and you will really be able to immediately see in the first 1 hour of the game how much of a mind fuck this game is, because this game at the beginning is a massive mind fuck. You have no idea what's fucking going on at the beginning of the game. And still, even now, I mean, I'm 20 hours into the game and I'm still not certain what I'm supposed to do at the end. So the game is really quite a good game if you like lore and all of that stuff. And the gunplay in the game is really quite cool, really quite enjoyable first-person shooter, and there's a lot of, like I said, platforming and questing and stuff like that mixed in between. So if you're looking for a Doom game or a Bulletstorm game or a Borderlands game, this game is not that. You're not going to enjoy this game if you are looking for something like Doom. But if you're looking for something more like Dead Space, then I would absolutely suggest that you get this game, since this game is very much like Dead Space, but it has a much more, much better character development system in the form of the Neigh mods and all of that. And apart from the Neigh mods, which are essentially your skill points, you can also upgrade your suit with a bunch of stuff which you get through the game, and you can also upgrade your scope, which is the this thing that you put over your face in order to scan the aliens. You can also upgrade that, so you can not only get skill points, you also get suit upgrades and headgear upgrades in the game, in addition to all of the fucking guns and stuff that you get. So the game is really quite fucking awesome, and you can also upgrade your weapons. So like for instance, you want to upgrade the pistol, then you right click on it and you go upgrade. Or you want to upgrade your shock thing, like this disruptor pistol thing, then you right click upgrade and you can upgrade it here. So there's not only weapon upgrades that you can do skill point, skill upgrades, and you start out with this 3, and then later on you get these 3, and there's even a much more deeper mechanic, I could say, behind these 3, because the more you invest into them, the more corrupted you become, and the more difficult the game actually becomes for you, because then turrets and the security systems on the moonbase are going to consider you a hostile, since you become more alien. And I even haven't unlocked all of them yet. Like, there's a few like this one. I haven't unlocked this one yet, so I have no fucking idea what this thing is. So even 20 hours into the game, I still haven't unlocked all of the stuff. I've unlocked most of them. I haven't unlocked that one yet, and I've unlocked all of these. But you can clearly see, even 20 hours into the game, there's still stuff that you need to unlock, and I still haven't unlocked all of these stuff. I'm like not even maybe halfway through all of the skills in the game. So it's really quite hilarious how big this game is. The fact that after 20 hours, I'm still not even halfway through the progression system of the game. So, and I really think later on I'm still gonna get more guns, since at the moment I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guns and a range. So I have 5 guns and a range. So I'm certain that there's going to be way more guns later on, way more suit upgrades still, since I still have a bunch of suit upgrades available to me, and way more scope upgrades, since I still have 5 scope things that still aren't unlocked. So you can clearly see that there's a shitload of progression in the game. So if I can come to my conclusion, and my fucking voice is wearing out, I really like the game. The game will not be for everyone, I have to admit that. If you're looking for Doom, or if you're looking for Borderlands or anything like that, this will not be your game, since the combat is few and far between. You really don't get a lot of combat, there's not a lot of action in the game. You do encounter a few aliens per section that you walk through the game, but honestly the aliens are not everywhere, so you're not going to get a lot of action in the game, but there is a very good balance struck between the platforming in the game, the shooting and the action in the game, and then the storytelling and the backstory in the game. So the backstory is the biggest thing that I like about the game. The backstory is really quite awesome. But if you watch that 1 hour video that I told you about, you will very quickly be enthralled by the game. But don't watch that video if you're going to buy the game, because that video really quite spoils a lot of the story behind why you are on this moon base and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. I really think this game is pretty damn good. The game is available on Steam for $50 or $60. I'm not certain. I think the collector's edition is something like $60 or $70. But check it out if you want to, and if the game looks worth it for you. I am certainly happy that I bought the game. I have certainly no complaints. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.